and welcome to another beautiful edition of Sunshine Diary on Osrc television, your window into the stories that shape lives and communities across Ondo State. I am Oyewumi Ayenigbara, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you join us. So today we have something very interesting to show you on the program, but after the break, we'll bring it to you. Thank you very much for rejoining us. Like I said earlier, today on Sunshine Diary, we turn out the spotlight to Owo, where joy and celebration filled the air over the weekend as the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic held its 12th to 23rd combined convocation ceremony. It was a gathering that brought together the academics, community, government, officials, proud parents, and also graduates, all celebrating years of hard work, resilience, and achievement. Now let's take you there as we relay the colorful moment and hear some of the highlights from that moment. Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo was originally established as Ondo State Polytechnic Owo with the mandate to train skilled manpower in science and technology, with objectives to provide technical and practical training in fields like engineering, business, and to train self-reliant technicians, technologists, and other personnel needed for national development, which will serve the economy and offer professional exposure. As polytechnic education will continue to be relevant to Nigerian economy for the much-needed industrial development, Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo held combined 12th to 23rd convocation at the sports complex of the institution. The governor from the state, Honorable Lucky Remison Ayedatiwa, congratulates the management of Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, the union, and entire students for their patience and maturity during the trying period.
We were visibly disturbed as government to learn that the last time this institution held a convocation ceremony was in 2013. I, therefore, made it clear that it was unacceptable for a ceremony expected to be an annual academic exercise not to hold for more than a decade, and therefore directed that the ugly situation be remedied immediately. While commending the acting rector and his management team for acting promptly as directed, I must also congratulate all of you, present and absent, who graduated within the period in view, but have now been accorded the benefits of today's combined convocation ceremony. I congratulate all of you. Congratulations. Kabiyesi's, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when I became acting governor and later substantive governor of Ondo State, the most daunting challenge confronting the Polytechnic was the backlog of salary arrears of 13 months. Realizing that no meaningful teaching and learning could take place in a tertiary institution where workers are owed humongous salaries, our administration took decisive steps to address the challenge. In 3 separate instances, we approved and released special intervention fund for the payment of these outstanding salaries.
Governor Ayedatiwa ordered the payment of 3 months' salaries to the staff of the institution It says the era of owing workers' salaries are issues of the past in Ondo State.
But that miracle is about to happen right now. When the chaplain was offering the opening prayers for this assembly, he did mention and pray that there shall be miracle. And to the staff and the leadership of Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, the only miracle they are expecting today is the defrayment of that 3-month outstanding salary. And by the power conferred on me as the governor of Ondo State,
lucky, lucky, oh, lucky, lucky, oh, lucky, lucky, oh, lucky, lucky, oh,
and visitor to this great institution that have been revived from ICU to a functional polytechnic with a new culture of education returned, I hereby approve the pending 3-month salaries being owed this institution.
lucky, Lord, she amo. Lucky, Lord, she utamo wambe.
Now, he said this, that it is not because we cannot make that payment before this day, but I purposely reserved it so that all of you can hear it. And that miracle is here. Congratulations to all of you. Furthermore, we observed that payment of salary based on varying percentage was the reason for accumulated unpaid salaries in the Polytechnic. The state government took yet another step to approve a substantial increase in the monthly subvention for the Polytechnic as applicable to other state-owned tertiary institutions in the 2024 budget, effective from January 2024 until now. To the glory of God, it is gratifying that Rufus Giwa Polytechnic now pays full salary to its worker as at when due. It is important to commend both students and workers of the Polytechnic for the deep sense of understanding, patience, and resilience which you demonstrated amidst the challenges before now. I must acknowledge the profound and patriotic resolve of the 3 workers' unions of the Polytechnic, in particular, to heed by my admonition for restraints and patience when government needed time to address the numerous challenges facing the institution. The decision to opt for constructive engagement instead of rancorous industrial actions remains commendable. Thank you. Now, rest assured that our promise regarding offsetting unpaid salaries, which had been substantially made good, is sacrosanct, just as I have just declared and approved. The state government will continue to demonstrate sincerity of purpose in that regard. The era of owing salary in Ondo State is gone.
He reaffirmed his administration's commitments to repositioning education in the state. Governor Aiyedatiwa also approved the renovation of the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Staff School and granted their request for school bus.
These also informed the earlier directive of the state government for the reopening of the institution staff schools. And today, I'm delighted that the full compliance with that directive has been effected. And we saw earlier on the pupils of the staff school who render a tribute to my humble self. And I want to say that the request of the staff school to provide an enabling environment for them for teaching and learning and to ease their movement by that demand for renovation of their schools and provision of a bus will also be granted.
The governor reiterated its readiness to upgrading the institution to University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, which will boost technology education. Governor Aiyedatiwa urged the private, individual, especially institution alumni to support their alma mater for development.
Now, following the approval of the state government to upgrade this polytechnic to a full-fledged University of Agriculture, Science and Technology. I must assure you that we are unrelenting in our efforts to commence implementation. We are doing everything necessary and we have God's assurance on this laudable project. This upgrade is not to play down on technology education that Giwa has been known for. It is a way of enhancing our technological education. That is why technology, sciences, and other subjects that will bring about technological knowledge and development of the student will also be offered here. That is why it has been named University of Agriculture, Science and Technology. May I place on record the highly commendable contributions of the federal government of Nigeria to infrastructural development in our tertiary institution through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund. I can attest to such contribution in our Sunshine State, particularly for Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo. Therefore, we call on corporate bodies, philanthropists, and other public-spirited individuals to complement government's efforts in the funding of education sector. As a 45-year-old institution, the Alumni Association of Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Award is also expected to be virile and strong enough to come to the aid of the institution in a manner that we accelerate the overall development of the school. The time to give back to your alma mater, Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, is now.
In his goodwill message, the acting rector of the institution, Mr. Olorunwa Adegun, applauded the governor for his quick action through special intervention funds. He noted that the institution was on the brink of collapse before the intervention of Governor Aiyedatiwa, which broke the 12-year no convocation jinx.
I therefore highly disturbing has been the thought of how to best thank Your Excellency for the various ways in which you have remained consistent and unrepentant in retrieving the Polytechnic from the indescribably terrible state where we met it. For the opting time, I attest to it that to the root shock and deep concern of all members of the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic community and public, Your Excellency met the institution in a near bottomless pit of hopelessness. When you came on board as the governor of Ondo State, it would not have occurred to any individual by any stretch of imagination that the same institution that was rated the best state polytechnic in Nigeria in 2015 could later be in a complete lifeless state, in a near bottomless pit of hopelessness. Of a truth, one of us captured it this way, that the institution was in the ICU, but now has revived and has been discharged to the world to be receiving air without being aided. So that is just the state. The situation in the institution when your SLS came on board was so terrible and embarrassing that any arrangement to rescue it would have produced no effect. The situation in the institution at that time was that bad, and it was then I assumed the duty as acting rector. I stated earlier, the situation in the institution at that time was clearly beyond what could be rescued. What the institution needed was a decisive and outright retrieval from the near bottomless pit of the hopelessness where it was lying lifeless. To the heavy administration of the Polytechnic community and the public, Your Excellency swung into action and embarked on the retrieval mission. When Your Excellency took up the retrieval task, it was so daunting that not many people gave you any chance of meaningful success. In order to clarify how daunting the retrieval task was, I wish to mention a few realities which aptly describe the state of the institution at that time. One, workers in the institutions were owed salary for months in excess of a calendar year, i.e. 14 months. The hope of ever having the salary arrear paid has almost been lost. Today, we are all pleasantly shocked to witness the tremendous success achieved by Excellency in the retrieval task. While it is true that the institution is yet to be completely retrieved from the proverbial bottomless pit of hopelessness where it was, it is evident that it is getting encouragingly clear on repentance unions in the institution. It is only fear that we take into conscious account the indescribably hellish situation they went through before His Excellency Dr. Lucky Orimisa Ayodatiwa came on board to commence the retrieval task that brought life back to the institution.
He commended the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, for initiating infrastructure development in the institution, which is strategic for smooth study. While speaking, the Executive Secretary of National Board for Technical Education Southwest Zone, Professor Idris Bugaje, represented by Mr. Ayo Aroge, described the convocation ceremony as academic achievement, fostering a sense of community among the graduates, family, and the institution. Mr. Aroge noted that the role of Polytechnic is essential in changing the world, which is highly required in reviving national structure.
Graduation ceremony marks the culmination of dedication work and sacrifices by students. It is the recognition and conferment of performance, achievement, and progress. Graduation honors individuals' effort and perseverance and virtuous behavior like diligence, communication, and ethical successes. And that is why I want to congratulate the management of this great Polytechnic for taking this giant stride to break the jinx of over 12 years. In this dynamic landscape, the role of technical and vocational education cannot be overemphasized. While we are saying this, the world around is embracing technology, and that is why a place like China is developing very rapidly.
In the same vein, National Alumni Chairman of Owo Poly, Engineer Abubakar Adiola, noted that academic culture and values have returned to the institution.
Now that the unacceptable situation has been addressed today, I am pleased to note that the global culture of making a convocation ceremony an annual event is back here in the institution for good. While thanking the Ondo State Governor and visitor to the institution for his funding effort, assurance is hereby given that the Council will continue to formulate policies which are targeted at accelerating development with the sole aim of strategically positioning the institution to achieve its primary objective of its establishment, which is the use of technology to advance the cause of mankind. Within the limits of the general guidelines of appropriate regulatory bodies, the Council will continue to encourage regular reviews of the process of giving academic instructions in order to make the training of students a need-based.
His Excellency Dr. Orimisan Aiyedatiwa was born in the Ilaje local government area of Ondo State in 1965. That makes him 60 years of age now, but he's still looking quite youthful, vibrant, and agile. Please, a round of applause for that. Standing ovation as he received this uncommon award. Thank you very much, sir. My rector.
Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. 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 Ọ̀kan lọ́kì orí wa san ayé tún dà tiwa. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta làwa yóò ṣe. Ọ̀kan lọ́kì
By the authority
wa san ayé tún
of the
dà
academic
tiwa.
board,
Ọpẹ́ mẹ́ta
I confer on you,
lọ́kì wọ̀ọ́rẹ́ mi sọ́mọ́ lóde.
Dr. Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, the Fellowship of Rufogiwa Polytechnic FRGB Honorary Courser with all the right and privilege therein. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Before we proceed, I want to invite all the graduates here to please march forward to say thank you to our amiable governor, Honorable Dr. Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, for being with us, standing with us, helping us, and delivering us. He's a father, he's a mentor, he's a pathfinder, and we love you. A caring heart father. Thank you, sir. Please, all the graduates, quickly move forward here. And come and say thank you.
Yé orí wá sẹ́gun àní o.
Be fast.
Orí wá sẹ́gun àní o. Ẹsẹ̀ ní olúkà máa rè, àgbẹ̀dọ̀ orí rẹ̀ máa san rè. Ìyáre wá o, orí wá sọ̀rọ̀ rè. Gbogbo graduates, ìyó tó dayọ̀ ní o. Ìyó tó dayọ̀ ní. Gbogbo graduates, tún mọ́ sí wá poli ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní. Ìyó tó dayọ̀ ní o. Ìyó tó dayọ̀ ní. Ẹsẹ̀ ní olúkà máa rè, àgbẹ̀dọ̀ orí rẹ̀ máa san rè. Ìyáre wá o, ìyó tó dayọ̀ ní. Ó tún sọ pé yé máa bàjá o. Bímọ máa bà bínú. Ìsẹ́yìn máa bàjá o. Máa bà bínú. Ọ̀nà lọ́rùn bá ti lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ èdè bàjá o. Ọ̀nà Jésù bá ti lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ èdè bàjá. Ogun tún bóyá. Máa bàjá o. Máa bà bínú. Dọ́kítà ògùdù bóyá. Máa bàjá o. Ó ní máa bà bínú. Ọ̀nà lọ́rùn bá ti lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ èdè bàjá o. Ọ̀nà Jésù bá ti lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ èdè bàjá o.
Wow, indeed, it was a day of joy, reflection, and a new beginning for the graduates and also Rufus Giwa Polytechnic. And with that, we come to the end of the program today, Sunshine Diary on Osrc Television. Next time, do join us again for a beautiful time. My name is Oyewumi Ayinigbara. Bye for now.